Hello everybody, welcome to my Star Wars Unlimited Jump to Lightspeed card review series. In this series, I'm reviewing all the cards for Jump to Lightspeed. We still have about maybe 10 to 15 cards that haven't been spoiled. We had a big drop of Italian and German cards that were released today. I already filmed a Vigilance Villainy guide, but actually, luckily, no Vigilance Villainy cards have been shown. Going forward, unless there are more cards coming out Tuesday or later, this should encompass almost all of the cards. And then any of the ones that I miss, I'm going to make an update video at the very end to capture them. In my card review series, I rate all cards from 1 star to 5 stars. The next section in this video is going to describe the star ratings and what each of them mean. It's the same exact video segment between all of my videos. So if you've already seen it or you don't care, you can just skip right past it to get right into the card reviews. The newest cards through all of my videos coming out, the cards that are in German and Italian, if you're just looking for those, will be at the end, right before like the summing up and the roundup. If you look in the chapters in the YouTube video, I'll put like parentheses like German or Italian, so that way if that's all you care about, you can just go find them there. If you didn't skip ahead, what are my card ratings, right? So a 5-star card. These are just meta-defining core cards. Think Triple Dark Raid, think Wrecker, think Ruthless Raider, right? These are cards, if you don't have a plan for, you're in for a world of hurt. Your deck really doesn't function as a deck if it doesn't have any kind of answer to these cards. 4-star card. These are just great supporting cards for colors it's used in. Or it enables like a leader to be more consistent and allows them to consistently get top 8s. I think of like P38 and Darksaber. Right, P38 is so nuts in Django. And Darksaber, like if Sabine gets a Darksaber off on you, it's pretty much just GG. 3-star. These are just good supporting cards for the meta decks that they can be teched in and out based on the meta, so they might see play. So like Crafty Smuggler is one of these cards, right? Against ping decks, it's amazing. Against other decks, it's just okay. Tranquility is really good against control decks, right? Because it can just keep bringing another Tranquility back from your discard pile, so you never run out of threats. So you never run out of gas, so you always just beat the control deck eventually. 2-star cards. These are just okay cards. They're sideboard at best against very specific matchups. Look the Other Way is one of these cards. It's Concord Dawn Interceptors. And then 1-star cards. This was actually the hardest card to find an example of, right? Because it's so forgettable. And I chose Vanguard Ace. It was a set 1 card that was pretty bad. Echo Base Engineer. It's on curve stats. It's a 2-cost 2/3, and its effect is like way too slow and conditional to see play. I mean, how often are you going to be playing a 2-cost card after you already play, I would assume, either a 2 or a 3-cost ship? Like your next turn is going to be playing a 2-cost card, and typically you'd rather play units on curve until about, 6 or 7 resources. So is playing a card like Echo Base Engineer like really going to give you some kind of benefit that you're like really looking for? One of the only things I can think Echo Base Engineer being used for is if you're playing Blue Hero and Tarkin Town decks are still like all over the place like they are right now. I could see a world where you're playing a 3-cost ship on your next turn. You really need it not to get ping exhausted by Django, so you play Echo Base Engineer because it's already been pinged as of last turn. I could see like a couple of these cards in the sideboard specifically against like Django. I'm going to give this card a 2 stars, but I don't see it like making like a huge impact. Hera Syndulla. She's a 2/3 for 2, restore 1. So again, on curve. Piloting, basically attaching exactly Hera to a ship, +2, +3, restore 1. So again, stats on curve. Restore is nice. Like I don't want to poo-poo restore 1, especially in Blue Hero. Like restoring is all over the place, so maybe like restore 1 isn't like that insane. We've already seen a 2/2/3 in space restore 1 with restored arc. I mean, how much restore do you really need? Because she is basically a restored arc in space. So if you're like trying to find your best 2-drop plays, what can they be? Are you going to replace a restored arc with Hera Syndulla? And if you do that, you kind of anti-combo her because you need vehicles to attach her as a pilot. And if you're removing one of your vehicle units, you can't really pilot her as effectively. So I do think she's one of the better turn 1 plays in like double blue hero. So I could see her seeing play if double blue hero sees play. Other than that, I don't think she's a card that I'm gonna be crazy to include in a lot of my blue hero decks. I think most other colors have better 2/3s for 2, and blue has a couple better 2/3s for 2. So we'll see. I'm gonna give her 3 stars. Paige Tico. One thing really interesting about Paige is she is the only 3 attack turn 1 play in blue hero with a blue aspect. So why am I highlighting this? That's because if you're running double blue hero, you want to run Quill. And when you want to run Quill, you really don't want to have off color, like off blue color cards in your deck, because you'd much rather Quill, draw your card, than discard your card. The only other 3/2 for 2 cost that like blue hero has access to is phase 1 clone trooper. And again, that just has the hero aspect on it. Now in Jump to Lightspeed, not to, jump too far ahead here, there is a 2/2 for 2 that has like -1/-1 on its when defeated. So it is kind of like a 3 attack turn 1 play, but like not really, because if you run it into a 1 attack enemy, it doesn't deal 3 damage. But I don't know how relevant that part of it is. Like double blue hero sees play, I think Paige Tico is an instant include in that deck. Like notice in the review, I haven't even talked about her piloting ability. So her piloting is a 2+2/+2 on attack, give an experience token to this unit and deal 1 damage to it. So on attack, it can be a +3/+3, I guess -1, which I don't even consider. I think just as a 2/3/2 for blue hero, I think this card gets a 4-star rating. Again, blue hero sees play. This definitely sees play. I would say like if you're running 12 turn 1 plays, I think you run 3 restored arc, 3 Paige, 3 Quill, and like maybe 3 Hera Syndulla. And so, I mean, if in that regard, blue hero got upgrades, but we'll see what the rest of the cards show. Cassian Andor. So Cassian is a 3/3/4, and he's got this weird piloting effect of on attack, discard a card from the defending player's deck. If it costs 3 or less, draw a card. So Cassian is actually like better against aggro than he is against control, because aggro typically is going to have more cards that cost 3 or less. So he is below like the global Star Wars Unlimited curve for 3 drops. Typically, we're looking for 3 5s. But in Blue Hero, he's on curve. Blue Hero, kind of got shafted in the 3 drop department for stats. So he's perfectly on curve for Blue Hero. My only question is, he is just a worse Yoda. He's same stats, 3/4 for 3. Yoda has Restore 2 on attack instead of like draw a card, only if he's played as a pilot. And Yoda, when he's defeated, draws you a card. So why would I ever want to play a worse version of Yoda in my deck? Like, I'm not hurting to run 3/3/4s in Blue Hero. So I really don't see where this finds a home. I think Cassian's a 1-star card, and I think you just play Yoda, who has more relevant traits, like the Force trait. There's a little bit of synergy with the Force is with me, and if you're running blue-red hero, you get Force throws as well. So again, I don't see where Cassian's going to see any play. L337. So if you've been keeping up, eventually I'll get to the review of the new Luke card, where I think it's a 2/3/2 with the inverse effect of L3, where you want to play that Luke as a pilot. When he would be defeated, he would actually move to the ground. So L3 is the opposite. You actually want to play her as a unit, and then when she dies, she can go pilot a vehicle. What does that mean? Is that good? Well, her stats are below curve. We already talked about how Cassian won't see play at a 3/4. I don't see L3 making any waves at a 3-3. Is her effect good enough? I mean, as a pilot, 3 cost +3/+3. I mean, sure, that's good. But it's conditional. Her unit effect is, like, you need... So the reason why L3 is bad and Luke is good is because when Luke dies, Luke always gets to be played on the ground. When L3 dies, you better hope you have a ship in place. And if I'm your opponent and I will just kill your ships first and then kill L3. I can play around it. Where Luke, you can't play around. So that being said, I think L3 is a 1-star card. I think she's bad. I don't see, again, why would I play this over Yoda? Okay, Phantom 2, 3/3 for 3. Grit. And, of course, Blue Hero can't have anything good, so you have to pay as an action. So if this card is a unit, attach it as an upgrade to the Ghost. And it gets +3/+3 and gains Grit. So as a unit, it's below curve on stats. And what I do not understand is its effect is based on another card, and that card's not even a leader. We actually have seen in the past cards like Phantom 2 see play. We saw Boba Fett's armor. I think we've seen like some of these like weird Luke and Vader lists run Luke and Vader's lightsabers. We've seen the Mace Windu lists that have been like winning, or I think it's like one player who's been winning over in Europe. He runs one Mace Windu's lightsaber. But the common theme with all of those is it's an upgrade that works with your leader. Why does that matter? Because you always have your leader. You will always be able to deploy your leader. Am I really going to run 3 copies of a card on the hopes that I draw and play another copy of a card that's a different card that is actually more expensive than Phantom? So, and it's not even like a 4-drop or a 3-drop where you could play this on 3 and then play Phantom, or you play Phantom on turn 2, you play Ghost on turn 3, and then you have the 1 extra resource to attach Phantom to it. That's not even like what you can do. The Ghost is a 5-cost card, and the Jump to Lightspeed Ghost, which you're going to see next, I think is a 6-cost card. I could be wrong, but I think that's what it is off my memory. So why the hell am I playing Phantom 2 for in 4 turns, not even 3 turns, 4 turns, I get to attach a +3/+3 Grit upgrade to it? I just don't see anywhere on Earth where that is just like viable. Like, I don't see it. I don't see it. 1 star. I'm not going to get in the weeds on this. It's a bad, bad, bad card. Red Squadron X-Wing. When played, deal 2 damage to this unit if you do draw a card. So it kills most turn 1 space units. It's on curve for a 3/4 for 3 in space. If you want to draw a card, it's below curve, but that's up to you. And I mean, drawing cards is good. We've seen that like Quill, again in Double Blue Hero, is like, I need to kill this card. I know that this is just a when played and it's not continuous. A 3/2 for 3 that draws you a card where card draw isn't like that insane is still good. And I will say this card is absolutely horrible against Tarkintown. And a lot of my ratings are... I don't see where Tarkintown leaves the meta. I really don't. And this card, you play a 3 cost. You don't even have to like waste a ping on it. It just immediately dies to Tarkintown. I don't see where you really want to play this card. But if you're going up against like control, like maybe you have like 2 of these puppies in your sideboard that you sideboard in control to help cycle through your deck to find answers better. But like you definitely do not want to play this card into Tarkintown. So I don't see where you main board it. In the most recent tournament, I think 5 or 6 of the top 8 decks were running Tarkintown. So that unfortunately, if Tarkintown leaves the meta, this card can go up to like a 3 or 4 star card. If Tarkintown is in the meta, it's 2 or 1 stars. You can see that I have Obi-Wan's Aether Sprite here because Dakar Cargo Frigate in my mind, is just a worse Obi-Wan's Aether Sprite. It gets it's got like inverse grit, right? It's -1, -0 for each for each damage on it in space. You got this big old meatball in space. It's insane stats. Like, don't get me wrong, 6, 7 is insane. Okay, if I ping it, it's now a 5-6. Like, every ounce of damage kind of removes like 2 stats worth on Cargo Frigate. So like, this card obviously is to be played in rows. The reverse grit, very bad against ping decks. This card even is so bad into Tarkin Town, which, you know, Tarkin Town's probably already used at this point. If you play this card and then they ping Tarkin Town it, they don't kill it, but it becomes a 2/3 in space for 5. Is that really what you want to be playing your 5 resource turn as a 2/3 space unit? I don't think so. You can deal 6 damage in space with ECL with this card. Like, I'm trying to give it the most benefit of the doubt. And, you know, my Obi-Wan's Aether Sprite has been sitting there. I don't know if you've been reading it, but just run Obi-Wan's Aether Sprite. If you ECL Obi-Wan's Aether Sprite, you play it, it's when played happens, so you deal 1 damage to this unit, 2 damage to another space unit. That's already 6 damage. And then it's on attack, you can deal another damage to Obi-Wan's Aether Sprite to deal another 2 damage to another space unit. Obi-Wan's Aether Sprite can like 2 for 1 an opponent. Or it could even like 3 for 1 an opponent. Like, if you're attacking something that has 4 life left and they have 2 TIE fighters, right? You play this card, you kill the TIE fighters, and then you kill the one thing. Like, why? Why? I don't get it. I'm not going to belabor the point. 1-star card, absolute garbage. Okay, let's be positive for a slight second. This has above curve stats. It's 5/6 for 5 in space.
What the hell is this? Oh.
Each other friendly Spectre unit gains this unit's keywords, but this unit has to be upgraded to get a keyword. Do you know who else can upgrade units? If I'm playing boss, guess what? I'm going to throw bounties on this puppy. Your Spectre units have bounty now, and I just kill your other Spectre units before I kill the ghost, and I get to double, triple all of my freaking bounties. I suspect this card was so much better in initial drafts, and they were just like, nah, it's too good, we gotta nerf it. Or like, maybe FFG just hates Rebels, the show. Like, is that it? Because they've just butchered everything about this archetype in this card. 1-star. Gold Leader. Notably, not a Millennium Falcon card, which is somewhat relevant with the Annihilator and Clear the Field. Stats are on curve for the current game, but I do believe that 6 cost, the curve goes up. Yeah, with Jump to Lightspeed 6 cost cards, the curve is going to increase. But so this is a 5/5 shielded that has, what is it, Electro Staff kind of text, where when it's defending, the attacker gets -1, -0. So this card is like 100% designed for the Lando leader. This also makes me think that maybe Lando was supposed to come out originally on 6 resources, so you could play Gold Leader, flip Lando out onto him. But that doesn't, I guess they had to nerf Lando. He was just way too good at 6. It's a 6 cost do nothing. Like, it doesn't even have an on attack ability. It's literally supposed to be a Sentinel. It's a 1 cost card. I don't know why you would play 6 for a 5/5 shielded. Designed for Lando. Lando's terrible. All right.
You're all clear, kid. Now let's blow this thing and go home.
The main highlight of this card is that you can play to the ground with like a Battlefield Marine turn 1. If they try to arena dodge you in space, then all you have to do is play this card as your first turn if you have initiative, kill their space unit, give your Battlefield Marine an experience token. Then they have to keep playing space, or else, you know, you have a 4/4 Battlefield Marine ready to attack and kill whatever like Sabine plays on that turn. I mean, that's really good. I just don't see like how often is the experience token going to come into effect. I really only see it happening. Turn 2, they play a space unit. You have to have a turn 1 play somewhere. Then you have to be able to have the initiative to kill their space unit, and your unit needs to be alive to give it an experience token. It's way too conditional for my liking to really value that experience token that highly. The main use of this card is to be like sideboarded in against Django and really heavy space decks. And I know we're going to see a lot of heavy space decks, and I know Jump to Lightspeed is a very heavy space theme. There's other things you could be doing instead of You're All Clear, Kid. That being said, I think I'm going to give it 2 stars. I think it is like a sideboard card. So this is, you know, a 2-star card. Not great, but not terrible. Like, it's not useless. I apologize for the translation. I don't speak German, and this was the best I could do. You choose either Grit, Restore 1, Shielded, or Sentinel. And while Yularen is in play, each friendly vehicle unit gains the chosen keyword. Yularen's stats himself, 5 health is good, but it's also bad because we see DJ in the meta, we see Tech in the meta, we see Sabine in the meta. So a lot of decks are already like, oh, I need to kill one of these guys on 3, or on like 3 resources or 4 resources. So I'm already planning to kill a 5 cost ground unit. Or that's why the 5 health is bad. The 5 health is good because 5 health is just one of the best health stat lines we've seen for a 3 cost unit. His effect comes at the cost of 2 attack. And that's not terrible because you're kind of like trying to buy time with this card. Being able to choose between Grit, Restore, Sentinel, and Shielded is very good. Yularen is good late game. He's good early game. It's really, really cool. One downside that Yularen has is you can't change the keyword after he's played unless you like throw down another Yularen and then kill this Yularen and then you call another thing. Another weirdness to this, so Grit, Restore, and Sentinel. Those 3 keywords you want to play if you have units already on board. If you have a vehicle that's been really damaged that you can attack with and your opponent's claimed, you call Grit. If you're behind on board, you have a lot of HP, maybe you pick Sentinel. If you have like a unit that you're trying to sneak in, it's like tiny, you have like a bunch of X-Wing tokens, maybe you say Restore. Shielded is really good if you have a vehicle that you really want to play, because then when you play a vehicle, it gets shielded. If Yularen dies, they still have the shield. My biggest issue with Yularen, and we've seen this with all of the other like buff spell units that have seen play, kill this guy. Like if I give a 5/7 space unit Sentinel, that's good because they have to get through the 5/7 space unit. All I have to do is kill a 1/5 ground unit and then the space Sentinel done away with. As soon as Yularen dies, the keywords go away. That's why I honestly think Yularen is best with Shielded. And then it's like, well, what 4 cost ships do I have to play to get a shield? It's like almost a combo card, like a 2-card combo card. That being said, it's a shield. And what have I been harping on this entire section? You have to deal with Ping Tarkentown, and shield is good against Ping Tarkentown. So this, again, makes me think Admiral Yularen is a really good sideboard card against Ping Tarkentown. I think he's a 2-star card. I don't think I include him in my deck, like my main deck, and I don't think I include 3 in the sideboard. And maybe I'm way off. Maybe he's a 4 or 5-star card. I just can't see it. 2-star card. I look forward to being wrong. I hope this card is actually really busted. These are all of the blue hero cards. I aggregated them all, so if all you care about is like the final ranking, or if we want to see how wrong I was later on, I have them all in one place. Unfortunately, unlike Vigilance Villain, who got like 6 relevant cards, I think we only got 2 relevant cards in Blue Hero. Maybe 3, maybe 4 at most. I think You're All Clear Kid, Admiral Yularen, maybe the X-Wing are more relevant. But I don't think Blue Hero got many tools. And the tools they got are all like conditional. They're not like these amazing blowout cards. That's unfortunate. I apologize if I seemed really negative in this video. Blue Hero is one of my favorite aspects, and it just seems like FFG doesn't really know what to do with this color, which is unfortunate. I love this color. I love Yoda. I played Double Blue Rey set 2. I played Double Blue Yoda set 3, and I'm currently playing Yoda Green and loving it. So not being able to get more tools kind of sucks, but maybe it'll make me actually play other colors more. If you made it this far in the video, thank you for watching. I really appreciate it. Please feel free to make a comment telling me about how trash my takes are, and we can have a discussion on why I'm wrong and the Phantom's really great or something like that.